Hello, you guys. How are you all? Thank you guys for being here. I am pumped to talk about this today and show you guys the things that me and Woofy been working on all morning and last night. Mainly her. She's been teaching me because I'm not good with direction. It's going to be fun, but we have a lot to talk about. I'm excited. Thank you guys for being here. Good morning, Deb. Good morning. Good afternoon to you. Actually, yeah, it just turned 12:06. Good afternoon, Jennifer. Hey, RJ. Hey, Glowbug. Corey. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Jody. Pointer Lover. Ava. Yeah, I was up. I was just trying to open up all of the things that we're about to look at and that stuff. Good morning, Meg. Happy Friday. Hey, Jeannie. I put a link in your newest community post to a channel that met with the families, and I gave you the link. Oh, wow. Okay. Thank you. Interesting. Ooh, welcome. Thank you for joining, Glowbug. Hey, Spicy Sugar, Cool Gamer, Pointer Lover. I don't want to miss anybody. Hey, Teresa. Let's see. Midwest Meemaw, Natasha, Web Weaver. Hey, Amanda, Unique Trauma. Thank you guys for being here. Okay, so I'm excited. We got a few things that I want to look at. Also, the OSBI did a new statement last night. Ivy's dad and their lawyer were on Ashley Banfield. Now, I don't think News Nation has posted that yet to their channel, but I have some clips of that from Twitter. So we have a few cool things to look at. Oh, Teresa, thank you. Happy Friday. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Hey, Jinlu. Hey, Woofy. Okay, so we're going to start. Here, let me show you first. Should I start with the new statement from OSBI or where we mapped out the locations in those things? Let me see. I loved that attorney. Oh, Mandy Joe, it was so cute. I thought about showing you guys some pictures from it. Maybe I will. It was really adorable. I mean, there's nothing cuter than like 26-year-olds dressed in animal costumes singing and acting out and all that stuff. We're going to start with this and then we'll get into... Actually, no, I can't decide. We'll get into that in a second. So I made these graphics yesterday just to use as visuals as we talk about this stuff. It's all just information straight from the press conference with the Okmulgee Police Chief Joe Prentice. We know they're not on the case anymore. And like I said, OSBI has given a new statement. Oh, statement first. Okay, so we'll get into that and then we'll map it out. But today we're going to talk about where they were found approximately. We're going to look at it in several different ways with comparisons from the news, from Google, from TikTok, from all kinds of things. It's going to be really interesting. Woofy helped me a ton. She's the best. Thank you, Woofy. And we're going to talk about how these three, Ivy, Brittany, and Riley, all suffered from one gunshot wound, and they were found, separately, but together, sort of, on one side of things. And then the Tiffany, Michael, Jesse, and Holly were found together. So, sorry, you guys, my phone was going off. Hey, Ava. Stephanie, oh my gosh, tonight, me and Jin Lu and Crime Curious, I'm so excited. I hope you guys will be here. We're going to go through all the things, Letitia's been moved. She's at a new jail. There's new interviews from the family and stuff. It's going to be really fun. But okay, we'll go to the statement. Then we're going to map out and look at and talk about where everyone was potentially located and that kind of stuff, and why. But so, came out yesterday evening. OSBI issues statement on Henrietta murder investigation. Since taking over the investigation into the Henrietta murder-suicide that left 7 dead, the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation has now released a statement on the case. On Monday, May 1st, the Oklahoma Highway Patrol sent out an alert for 14-year-old Ivy Webster and 15-year-old Brittany Brewer. Her age is it's really difficult because it's different depending where you look. Brittany's father told KFOR that his daughter was supposed to be home on Sunday evening around 5 p.m., but she never showed up. By Monday afternoon, the bodies of Webster and Brewer were found, along with the bodies of 5 others on a Henrietta property rented by Jesse McFadden, a registered sex offender. Detectives said McFadden shot his wife, Holly Guess, her children, Tiffany Guess, Michael Mayo, and Riley Allen, along with their friends, Brittany Brewer and Ivy Webster, before turning the gun on himself. Justin Webster, Ivy's father, told News 4 he wanted answers and closure. The property owner let the Webster family and KFOR inside the home where the murders took place. I feel that my daughter, even right now, is standing behind me telling me, Dad, keep going, keep doing this, said Justin Webster. The group found disturbing evidence, including sex and bondage items. They also found computers and victims' phones left behind. I want more done, Justin Webster said. The grieving family went back the next day and found even more evidence, raising even more questions. Local law enforcement had no idea of the value of what was left behind, said Cameron Spalding, the attorney for one of the murder victims' families. After the discoveries, Okmulgee County DA Carol Iskey informed the OSBI would take over the investigation. Since the takeover, the Webster family tells K4 the OSBI's investigators have brought in a U-Haul and searched the ponds on the property for evidence. Now, OSBI is releasing its own statement. So here we go. Let me check on you guys and then I'll read it. Oh, Amanda, thank you. Happy Mother's Day to you guys. Thank you so much. I love you. Hey, Missy. Hey, JC. Thank you, Amanda. Okay, so the OSBI serves as the lead criminal investigative agency in Oklahoma through partnerships with other federal, state, county, and local law enforcement agencies. With original jurisdiction in limited crimes, the OSBI is jurisdictionally available by request to our partners for assistance in various capacities, including investigative specialty services, partial and full investigations. On Saturday, May 6th, Okmulgee County DA Carol Iskey requested the OSBI provide full investigative assistance and assume the lead role in the continuing investigation regarding the homicides of Holly, Tiffany, Michael, Riley, Ivy, and Brittany at the hands of Jesse McFadden. The OSBI and our law enforcement partners recognize there is a tremendous amount of information being publicly presented from a variety of sources as it relates to this case. In tragedies such as this, when families and communities are grieving and looking for answers, the rapid flow of information, and in some instances speculation, can lead to misinformation being widely disseminated. Since the misinformation can be a distraction to the families and friends working to navigate their grief and may compromise the investigation as it moves forward, the OSBI does want to furnish the following facts to help provide some clarification and prevent the further spread of unconfirmed information. Since May 6th, the OSBI has been communicating with the involved families, working to keep them informed on the progress and priorities in this case, and tirelessly processing items, conducting interviews, searching additional locations and property, and obtaining intelligence and documentation. Many of the investigative efforts have occurred with the support of other law enforcement agencies, including the Grand River Dam Authority, Okmulgee County DA's Task Force, the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. The investigative process is ongoing and will be lengthy, but it is an attempt to determine what led up to and occurred during this incident. See, this is amazing. The work is also to discern whether there are other potential victims or suspects not yet identified. So that makes me feel better. They want to know what happened. They don't care that he's dead. That's not, oh, whatever, end of story. They are trying to get the details of what happened and what led up to this. And what happened during the incident. While OSBI is aware there is information circulating that does not represent investigative facts, we will not attempt to address each aspect of the miscommunications. Pursuant to Oklahoma Statute 74 OS, OSBI investigations are confidential, and the OSBI cannot release detailed information regarding investigations to the public. This helps ensure the confidentiality and integrity of each investigation. As we move through the investigation, we will continue to consider all available information and will conduct additional investigative activity necessary to evaluate information veracity. Anyone who has information relevant to this investigation may call the OSBI tip line at 1-800-522-8017. Those providing information may remain anonymous. OSBI understands that at the culmination of this investigation, there will be many facets of the case that will need to be addressed. Some of these are not under the purview of the OSBI, but for those that are, we will attempt to address them within our statutory guidelines. Future official updates regarding the progress of the investigation appropriate for public release will be provided by the OSBI or the DA's office via a subsequent press release or on the OSBI website. Going forward, we will continue to work with the family, law enforcement, and partners as we all look for a greater understanding. This is really good. This makes me feel better. Hey, Tiff. Hey, Melinda. Good to see you. Hey, CJ. Thank you for being here. Hey, Triggered Toad. Aw, Amber, that was really fun to do. And then, you see these TikToks of all these. If you search small businesses on TikTok, you will find the most unique products and stuff. But I found these really cool candles, so I'm going to do another review over there of those. But that was fun. Thank you for watching it. This case breaks my heart and pisses me off all at the same time. Me too. Me too. Hey, Tamara. Okay, so now let me show you guys this clip from Twitter, and then we're going to get into where each person was found and kind of what we put together this morning, Woofy and I. Okay. This is, Ash, it's not on their YouTube channel yet. I'm assuming this will be soon. I don't know. At least I couldn't.
Complete control of all the electronic devices as far as we know.
So this is the family attorney, and this is the guy. We've actually looked at some of his tweets along the way, giving us information about the case.
You have to understand that the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigations now has complete control of all the electronic devices as far as we know. And having done these cases for a number of years, I know that they're going to go through a forensics, and that's going to take some time. But those forensics will likely reveal that it has gone national on the internet. And then they will invite the FBI in to handle other parts of this investigation. And the FBI is very, very good at this. Very good at this. I've worked with them before, and I deeply appreciate their work. And I appreciate the OSBI coming and taking the forefront of this investigation now.
Cameron, about the FBI, I understand that there is a protocol. Law enforcement agencies do have to be requested before they can just, Bigfoot. But we may have other missing children that could have been victimized in that home, which would be instantly an FBI matter. Is the FBI, to your knowledge, working concurrently while the OSBI continues to push this investigation forward? And thank you for letting me know they now, a week plus later, have control of the electronic devices.
Not to my knowledge has the FBI been called in yet, Ashley.
Do you have any information about what the OSBI has at least been able to learn and convey to your clients, to the Websters, to the Brewers, to the extended family members of Holly's children?
No. At this time, they've just shown a great deal of cooperation to communicate with me and to communicate with Justin. I have a private investigator who was a former FBI agent, retired FBI agent. She has gathered information in regard to the electronic devices that were used that address as a location. We have other people, and I have forwarded that information to the OSBI. And right now, I want to be careful not to obstruct their investigation and reveal the information that we have uncovered. But it's deeply concerning about that house, about the people related to that house, and other events.
Just my assumption, I think maybe he's referring to the phones and the location and that kind of stuff. I don't know. But yes, Jay, thank you for the membership milestone. I hate that StreamYard doesn't show us, but I'm glad I did. Woofy, thank you for sending that to me. Hey, just a sub. Okay. So I was looking because yesterday Kate Does Crime shared a TikTok that was actually Jesse's. He had one TikTok video posted, but I think she's taking it down. I'm still going to share her channel link. I was able to find it somewhere else. There's her channel. She's done a lot on this case as well. Let me go to TikTok, because before we get into the location where the victims were found and why, I want to show you this video. It's so loud. Sorry about that. I want to show you this video. And now someone else shared this that I found. This is where I was able to find it, because I couldn't find his account. There are so many J Mac, because that's what his account is, at J Mac. There are a lot of those. So it was pretty hard to find it. But anyways, okay, so here is that video. Let me see. If I could get it to load. Here's actually, remember I just said the candles I'm going to be doing the review. There's one of them with the Fruit Loops in the milk. Okay, so they said, found this killer's TikTok, wish he would have fallen, but you can see the property better from this video. I don't think that's the property. I don't think this is at his house. I watched this like 30 or 40 times, and I had my son's dad look at it, help me. I've even showed Woofy. We're looking at the structures. Oh man, no, because I can't find it now, Woofy. But we were looking at the structures around it. Now, I'm not 100%. This is just my opinion. But you don't see, it looks similar, looks like a similar area, but it just, this, like, that's framed in, that's framework, that's not going to be gone. That's, permanent construction on a property. So I don't know. You make the Fruit Loop candles too, Jeannie? No way. Do you sell them? And will you let me know where? Hey, Mama Bear. Had to throw that out there because she may. What did you say? Ashley does wear other colors. Crime Lines and Lies calls her beige field, which is hilarious. I'm sorry. I know you like her, Woofy, but Amber, are you excited for the Lori Vallow verdict? I am so excited. I can't wait to hear. Okay. So anyways, here's his TikTok. Looking at him, watching him smile, he looks, well, this is actually someone else who's shared his video. But like I said, it was originally his video. And you can see, this is his picture right here on the screen. That's what his screen name, like his main picture looked like, but I still couldn't find him. Like, I found him through the browser, but through the TikTok app, I couldn't, because when I would click on the link through the community tab, it wouldn't switch over to my app. So I tried to manually find him and couldn't. But through the browser, I saw his account had only one video. Look at him, though. Ugh, I can't even stand to look at his face. It's very bizarre and surreal. Okay, so now we're going to get into where everyone was located. And this is just based on, this is not exact location. This is just based on measuring the distances that the Okmulgee police chief described, and then comparing that with photos from the news and the helicopter. And Woofy helped me. Thank you, Woofy. I love you so much. I really do. Gina, he is disgusting. And hey, Gina, by the way. Let me see. Okay. I know you love Ashley Banfield. Yes, Beigefield. Okay. I'm horrible with directions, so I'm going to make them. We spent like 2 or 3 hours on the phone this morning talking about this. I think I can do it. But during his press conference, we're back to this. So the victims were not, they were separated in a very peculiar manner. They did use the word staged. Ivy, Brittany, and Riley all suffered from one gunshot wound to the head. They were in one particular location, but they were spread out 100 to 150 yards from each other. That is a football field and a half. Think about that. That's a long distance. Okay, but then 4.5 more football fields away, we have Tiffany, Michael, Holly, and that's to show you in a minute to make sense of this. Holly and Jesse all together, okay? So let me grab. This is first. We'll watch the video that Wolfie made. So hold on.
It's found in one spot.
No.
Whereabouts were they found?
Ivy, Brittany, and Riley were found separately, approximately 150 to 150 yards apart from each other, and approximately a quarter of a mile southeast of the McFadden residence. The other 4 decedents were found together approximately 450, 500 yards east and a little bit south of where the 3 girls were found, and they were all together.
The victims found in one spot. Whereabouts were they found?
Ivy, Brittany, and Riley were found separately approximately 150 to 100 apart from each other. Of a mile southeast of the McFadden residence. The other 4 decedents were found together approximately 450, 500 yards.
Y'all haven't heard me this whole time. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Okay, so did not hear me make sense of those log piles or anything? Damn it. Okay. So this is from the news. Okay, we see the creek. We see the investigators out there, this pile of wood. There's 2 piles, but one's a little smaller. There's a creek in behind and a tree line. Okay, then here's that same picture with the wood. You know, there's that tarp. The creek's in back here. Then we have, I want you to notice these particular markers, okay? Also, there is it's like a trail, like a dirt road. And let me see. And the investigators see the trail here. You see this, it's like a 4-wheeler path or something. And you have that, and you have the wood piles, you have the creek's back there, but I'm going to show you where this is at on the Google Maps. Just remember that trail. There it is. That's where they're parked into the heavy wooded area that he was talking about. Here's the trail on Google Maps, and I'm going to zoom in, and you see there's that wood pile. Then you got the creek in behind it and the trees. So based on the fact that it's the exact distance that he mentions, and we can place the investigators out here, their vehicles were parked like around this area. I believe that the first 3, Ivy, Brittany, and Riley, were found. They were all about a football field and a half away from each other, but they were spread out in this area. Okay, this is just, you know, based on his measurements, and it's our perception of what he said, and I'm showing you how we got there. Okay, then let me see. I am so sorry, you guys. I really, though, this has been driving me crazy. I want to know why. And yeah. Okay, let me.
And
Hold on, you guys. Okay. So remember that trail. There's the trail here. There's the wood pile. There's the creek, the tree line. So you can see everything from those pictures from the news right here. And this is the exact distance that he said. But the thing is, this is one point, and the girls were spread out a lot right through here. You know, we don't know exactly where. But let me play this again.
Ivy, Brittany, and Riley were found separately approximately 150 to 150 yards apart from each other and approximately a quarter of a mile southeast of the McFadden residence. The other 4 decedents were found together approximately 450, 500 yards east and a little bit south of where the 3 girls were found. And they were all together.
The victims found in one spot.
No.
This picture,
Whereabouts were they found?
hold on. Okay.
The victims found
In
one
this
spot.
picture, you see you've got that 4-wheeler trail, the road, you see where the cops are, the creek's back there. Okay. Then
No.
they were very far from the
Whereabouts
house.
were they found?
Here, there's that again. I'm trying to just so you guys know where we're at. There's that wood pile. There's the bigger wood pile. There's that 4-wheeler trail right here. And all the cops were parked out here. And the tarp and the side by side and stuff.
Ivy, Brittany, and Riley were found separately approximately 150 to 150 yards apart from each other and approximately a quarter of a mile southeast of the McFadden residence. The other 4 decedents were found together approximately 450, 500 yards east and a little bit south of.
Okay, so let me show you in a screenshot. But this, our first mark is a little bit different, but that's only because they're spread out there and it's a guesstimate, like it's approximate. But if you look here, here's the house, the McFadden house. There's the driveway. Here's where you see all the news and the cops parked and stuff across the road. Here's that 4-wheeler trail that goes back here. There's that first pile of wood. Our dot ended up, they're over here more, just based on the news coverage and seeing all the police vehicles down here. But these are the exact measurements that he stated. So we have the 3 girls spread out in this area, and then we have the rest of them over here. This is the highway. They were really close to the highway, but, you know, quite a distance from the house. Hold on a second. This is also the exact distance that he said, but over a little more this, you know, to this side. The reason that we ended up moving it this way some and it ended up being like right here, our first point, was because, again, the wood pile, the police presence, where they were parked at, and that kind of stuff. And here we have them again. You can see an investigator out there with the side by side near that wood pile next to the creek. Oh, Jen, thank you. Woofy helped me a ton. I couldn't have done it without her. I'm awful with directions. She had to walk me through this, and we had to talk about it for a while. But it's so, I like it to see that, like, I like to be able to see it, you know, visuals help so much. Let me see. Oh, Truthful Soul, thank you for being a champ for 2 months. Thank you so much. Let's see what you guys think. Hey, B Crumbs. The police thought that McFadden might have forced the kids and his wife out there, or that he lied to them about something. Get out there. I want to hear you guys' theories of why they were so far. Hey, Truthful Soul. I know, Uncle Benny. I know your line of thought always. The girls actually did try to run from him. I mean, I don't know. We don't know. I believe they're running for their lives. I think a lot of people are thinking that. You explain it better than Woofy ever could. I don't know. You explained it to me. No. I wonder if law enforcement has checked the pond or creek. Yes, there are rumors that they were checking the ponds, and they had excavators out there and stuff like that. If I had to guess, there's a message from the killer. Do you mean that there's something that we don't know about yet? Or do you think that the way they were staged was a message? Hey, Kimber. Okay. So let me play. I'm going to play these clips that we use to determine this. Well, here. just for a second to get, just so you guys have the full picture of how this happened.
No.
Whereabouts were they found?
Ivy, Brittany, and Riley were found separately, approximately 150 to 150 yards apart from each other, and approximately a quarter of a mile southeast of the McFadden residence.
The victims found in one spot?
No.
There's one more. Let me just go ahead and play it too, just so you guys see it.
Something very similar. That morning, deputies and task force members went out to the property in an effort to see if there was anyone there. While at the property, they got no response at the door, and they observed what they believed was a freshly disturbed area of dirt in the yard or the curtilage around the residence. They came back and reported that, and we got a search warrant for the residence and the property.
Oh.
I'm sorry, one at a time.
Very similar questions. Have you traced back this gun, and how did McFadden?
We saved that. That one was because Woofy was, so we could clarify the search warrants when they got them, and if they're, if they got them separately or whatever. It appears that they got them for the house and the property at the same time. It's just that they missed a lot. They just happened to miss a lot when they were in the house. That's that, because they did get
A quarter of a
Holly's phone out of
mile
the house.
Southeast.
They got Holly's phone out. So I'm going to show this one more time. And then I was going to drop the link. I want, if any of you guys want to come up and give your thoughts, your theories on why, anything you want to say about it. But let me play this one more time just so you can really get a good view of it. And then, yeah. Okay.
One spot?
No.
Whereabouts were they found?
Ivy, Brittany, and Riley were found separately, approximately 150 to 150 yards apart from each other, and approximately a quarter of a mile southeast of the McFadden residence. The other 4 decedents were found together approximately 450, 500 yards east and a little bit south of where the 3 girls were found, and they were all together.
The victims found in one spot?
No.
Okay, and before we move on, let me just show you one more time.
Found separate.
Remember, we're looking for certain markings here, right? Because we know the exact distance, but it could be angled. We could have the angle off a little bit, but we see the wood pile here. Remember this wood pile down here, okay? And then there's another one right here. That's the bigger one. There's 2 wood piles. We also have this trail that's like the dirt road, and we have the creek, the tree line. So let me show you in these images one more time, just so we got it down and clear. Here's that trail. There's the investigators back there. The creek is, in that tree line. We know that. Here's another angle of them down there at that area, the creek, the tree line. Here is on the map where we see the wood piles, and then here is from the news footage where you can see the investigators out there by these wood piles. So we have that one and the creek and the tree line. So I think that we're very close, if not dead on. I really do. Yeah. And here's another one of the wood pile, the tarp, and the investigator out there. Yeah. Okay. Let me drop the link, Jen Lou, because I saw a comment. If you want to come up and give your thoughts, you're always welcome. Anybody's welcome. But there was a comment I wanted to read. Oh, there it is. The word staged is a reference to a potential message opinion. That's so interesting. I'm definitely going to use an overlay because I'm not getting weirdos up here like it happened before. in one of the newspapers says the girls were running. Well, this is the thing, he said they had the wounds were all to the head. We know that, right? But some were to the front, some were to the side, some were to the back, some had injuries on the front of their head. That's not very clear. And that's another element of it. You would think if you have somebody execution style, they might all be the same. I would think so. Maybe I'm wrong, though. That's just, yeah. Were they killed where they were found? We don't know, but I don't think so because of the word staged that was used. Woofy is a smart wolf. Yes, she is. Oh, you guys are sweet. Hey, apple bottom jeans. Did they own four-wheelers or a side-by-side? I actually don't know that for sure. I mean, they lived on a farm. There was a lot of, oh shit, I didn't do the overlay. Is that you, Bendy?
It is me. As soon as you added me, I was like, oh my God, what if I wasn't me? What if it was a wiener?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
So, what do you think, Jen? I know you've been trying to learn and take it in. I can't wait to hear.
I feel like staged is a very specific word choice, and it can mean many different things. And I think, but typically, when law enforcement uses the term stage, it usually means the body was positioned in a manner, but that is not where they were actually unalived. And so I keep thinking about the text that he sent to one of his victims where he said he was not going to prison, back to prison again ever. And it makes me think that he was probably trying to send some type of message. Now, whether that message is discernible or not, because it's not. If this was just I'm going to do what I want, one last hurrah, right, and then basically execute everybody, which is what he did, there'd be no real reason to stage. There's got to be something else to it, and that doesn't. I mean, I don't know. We don't have enough detail yet, but it might not even be. I mean, I'm sure that it is a message, but wait, let me say this again. If it is a message, we might not know what it is, and law enforcement might not know what it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just for sometimes they do things like that just for their own self. Right.
Because if they're that, depending on, what's going on in their head, and if they're that sick, and we know he was sick. B Crumbs, thank you so much for those, gifting those. I appreciate that. That's really sweet. And struggle is real. So he was found with Tiffany, Michael, and Holly, and they were down. Let me just pull up the video and just pause it.
Hang on, I got to mute.
Okay. So he was found with Holly, Tiffany, and Michael down in this area. We think by the measurements, because it's 450 yards east and a little bit south, I think is exactly what he said. But if you guys just came in, you definitely want to rewind, because we went through step by step exactly how we got here. But yeah, so the three girls were kind of separated in this area, 150 yards apart. And then the rest of them were down here. It's so bizarre.
So if we're thinking of, okay, just follow me here. I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm going off of what law enforcement said with the term staged. Okay. I just want to make that clear.
Okay.
It would, if he was found with a group and then the girls were found separately, right? That might imply that the separation, obviously, it could mean that, he regards the three other victims, the three girls, as less than, or it could imply that the other people that were found were in some way, shape, or form co-conspirators. There's a lot of, without knowing if they were unalived in the spots that they were found, for sure, it's hard to say. But I do find it interesting. Sorry, I have to straighten up a little bit. I do find it interesting that law enforcement used the term staged, because it means something very specific. So the term staged.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's just fascinating to think about it. Like all the different possibilities. Like that's what my mind's been doing nonstop. And we really don't know. And the problem is, not only is law enforcement, we've gotten some information from law enforcement, but there's a lot of misinformation going around. And also we have like people directly involved kind of arguing back and forth about the facts. So it's tough to figure out the truth. I think if it doesn't come from law enforcement, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I believe it, but I'm not going to put 100% weight in anything on any case unless it's from law enforcement or the court.
Yeah, it eventually it will come out. This is very, very early, and
yep.
We still have a long ways to go with all of this. But if you look at other crimes historically, like, for example, the Black Dahlia, she was staged. She was definitely unalived somewhere else and then placed where she was found. The Hillside Stranglers did it too. They also would stage their victims. They were unalived. Huh? What
were they like posed as? Like, or were they like posed?
Well,
that like in certain positions? And
yeah, the Hillside Stranglers, when they staged their victims' bodies, what they did was pose the women in a very lewd position. It was intended to shock and horrify, as if finding an unalived body wouldn't be shocking and horrifying enough. They went the extra mile to make it more shocking and horrifying. And so that is, in and of itself, I can't think of a better word right now than message. Message is not the right word, but it is more like it is something meaningful to the person who committed the crime. And I don't want to use the word signature either, because that's, I don't know enough yet. But when they say staged, those are the types of things that I think of.
Wow, that is, and you know what? That would fit his personality, what we know about him so much. He's sick and twisted and been called a sadist by many, by mainstream media and everything. I don't know. That's just what we're hearing. But that would fit for him to do something like that, to try to make it more horrifying. Were the Delphi's girls, weren't they staged as well?
I can't remember. I have to look that up before I say I can't remember. Yeah.
Hey, Mrs. O, not that I know of so far. Okay, well, I got another thing to add to this and get your thoughts on. There were, there were drug stuff found at the house. There were needles, which had stuff in it. There was like a thing to crush stuff. There was powdery substance. There were chocolate bars. There were bongs. Do you think that might have played a role? And I wonder, because there's a lot of, and I mean, we're just theorizing here. That's all we can do. But I just wonder what role that played. And also, why did police leave that? Like a needle full of drugs. They just walked in, had a search warrant, because I just showed that he said they had a search warrant for the house and the property, but they left it. They got Holly's phone.
Well, typically you would think that whether there is a search warrant or not, that implicitly and explicitly covers any type of paraphernalia, that it would be removed by law enforcement anyway. And I can tell you that when my mom passed away, because she died at home, of course, the police were called and the medical examiner came out or the coroner, and the coroner took possession of all of her medications. And that's just standard protocol.
Wow.
So I'm not exactly sure what happened in this situation, why that wasn't done. But I will tell you this. If they played a role at all, it was probably in just initially, because thing about a sadist is they need for their victim to be in pain and to scream, and that is what is exciting to them. And so if they are under the influence of something that would in any way, shape, or form dull that, then it wouldn't work for them. But that's if he is actually, a sadist. It would be counterintuitive. It would be counterproductive.
Yeah. That's a good point. That's a really good point. I guess like maybe to make it easier, maybe, I don't know. The fact that those three were found 150 yards apart is mind-boggling to me. I can't imagine how the family's minds must be running wild about what happened. What did they go through? Because and I don't even know them. So imagine how their families must feel. Oh,
right.
I was looking to see how the Gainesville victims were staged because
oh wow, Tiny Dancer, that's interesting. I guess maybe, I guess prescriptions are one thing, but I would think that illegal drugs would be another. And if it's inside of a syringe, I guess without testing it, how would you know for sure whether it was an illegal substance or a prescription substance? I would just think that they would take those. But again, I'm not law enforcement, and I'm not from Oklahoma, or so I can't. It is interesting that they didn't. That's all.
Listen to this clip Wolfie sent me this morning about that,
Okay.
because we were trying to make sense of it. Here. I gotta make it smaller because I zoomed in. Oops. It's just.
And yes, Pepper, there is a list of items that the police took.
Something very similar. That morning, deputies and task force members went out to the property in an effort to see if there was anyone there. While at the property, they got no response at the door and observed what they believe is a freshly disturbed area of dirt in the yard or the curtilage area around the residence. They came back and reported that, and we got a search warrant for the residence and the property.
Have you traced back this gun?
I'm sorry, one at a time.
Very similar questions. Have you traced back this gun and did McFadden and back out like normal and ask for a search warrant?
Something very similar. That morning, deputies and task force members went out to the property in an effort to see if there was anyone there. While at the property, they got no response at the door, and they observed what they believed was a freshly disturbed area of dirt in the yard or the curtilage area around the residence. They came back and reported that, and we got a search warrant for the residence and the property.
Have you traced back this gun?
I'm sorry, one at a time.
Very similar questions. Have you traced back this gun and how did McFadden?
So he says they got a warrant for the property and the house. I don't know. He says at another point he got Holly's phone. Rocking Ruth. OSBI, who's taken over the investigation, put out a statement last night and said that they are determined to find out what happened. They want to know what led up to this, what happened during this, and that's what they said. We went over it at the beginning, but so we will get some details. But it's just like with Letitia, she's still alive, but she will never tell us. There's certain things we're never gonna know.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
That's just true of crime in general, And yes, Tiny Dancer, that was super messed up what the Gainesville Ripper did.
I was looking it up. Is Jinlu a doctor?
No,
No, but she's like a she's a, what do they
no,
call
not,
that?
no. Listen, let me explain. I like true crime, and and then so I like absorb anything and everything that I can get my hands on. I watched all kinds of stuff. I watched like the HBO special with Dr. Bodden, Autopsy. That one I find fascinating. I have watched anything and everything where John Douglas gives his ideas, his theories, his insight into the behavior of serial killers and killers in general. I can't get enough of it. And so, no, I am not a doctor, not by any means at all. These are just my ideas.
Yeah, but you're a regular mom that's into this stuff, and you're smart though. You're very smart. You're well spoken, and
Thank you.
you're insightful on many things. I go to you for advice all the time, like the kids being sick and stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah. I was looking up the Gainesville. I didn't know that inspired the movie Scream.
Yes. Yep.
That's cool.
If I
Kimber says,
remember
Jen, what did you-
correctly, the third victim was decapitated and posed on a bookshelf. The head was to look at the body, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh my God. Let me see. How were they found? Maybe that's a better question for Google, because it's not pulling up anything like easily accessible. Hold on.
And Kimber, what did I think of Paradise Lost? Oh, well, I think this. I think that documentary has received a lot of criticism over the years. And I think that if not for that documentary, a lot of people would not know about that case, and they would not know anything about the victims. And so I think in that aspect, I think that Joe Berlinger and Bruce Sinofsky did a fantastic job. I think that they went down there with one idea of what it was, and when they started conducting their interviews and filming, I think that they felt like it wasn't exactly what they thought. And I think that comes through in their documentary. That's what I think.
Okay, I found this this is kind of interesting. It said, this is talking about some of his victims. It says their murders came 2 days after the discovery 3 young female students had been killed and mutilated in 2 separate locations near campus. The serial killer was known for positioning his victims' bodies in a lewd manner before he left, just like you said. Let's see if it goes further into that. I was hoping it was going to go into the lewd manner, but I don't know. I'm going to do some research on that though, because that's very interesting to talk about other crimes that were staged, just to get an idea of what we're dealing with. Hey, Melissa Jade.
I'm trying to remember the ones that I can think of off the top of my head. I know the Hillside Strangler. I know the Black Dahlia, the Gainesville Ripper. I can't remember anymore off the top of my head. Sorry.
That's okay. That's enough. I'm going to look into the Gainesville one for sure. What else was I going to ask you? It wasn't about this. I was going to pull up Twitter to find something to show you about this. Oh yeah. Lori, what are you? Wait a minute. Nadine just says a live video feed from the courtroom cameras will still be provided as a verdict is read. I don't think we have one yet, though. Let me see. Oh, my gosh. Do you think it's going to come today? Or verdict?
I
with
think
Lori?
it's very possible. I was listening to Law and Crime, and Gigi McKelvin was on, and she was there. So, they had 16 jurors, right? And obviously only 12 can deliberate, right? So when they do that, they just draw numbers. And she said that the mood for picking the jury was anticipatory, as if the people all wanted to be selected to deliberate on this case. So I think that's very interesting. Where we had, it's very different than how it was with Leticia, like 11 billion people were trying 11 billion different reasons and ways to get out of deliberating on her case. So, yeah. I am not going to Big Crumbs because I can't. I can't. I can't. It's too much. Okay, now what did you want to show me on the Twitters?
Okay. This Legacy is a great account. They cover like a lot of the cases. Harmony Montgomery, just a lot of them that I've talked about. So I go there for a lot of information. But so they said that Kaylee Olivia's TV requested a detailed record of Jesse McFadden's home compliance checks. Per documents, the Okmulgee County Sheriff's Office says they only conducted one home compliance check, and it was conducted a year ago. That is just so frustrating. The system failed so big on this one. I can't believe they can let a man out who's been convicted of, having pictures of minors. Then he gets in trouble in jail for the same thing. He also gets in trouble in jail for essaying other inmates and having relationships with them. And he gets let out early. If he did his full sentence, he would still be in jail right now. Ooh, look at this. This is the home compliance sheet. It has Riley, Michael, and Tiffany listed as stepkids.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's born on the same day as me.
Oh dear.
8/24. I see the numbers everywhere.
I just feel like, based on that initial home visit alone, the fact that there are kids in the home that are close in age range to his, for lack of a better word, preferred victim age, then I feel like there should have been extra steps. I feel like it should have been taken a lot more seriously.
Dude, they're the exact age of like his preferred, what he's. Melissa's trying to say hi to you. She's like, hello, Jen, I'm down here. Hello.
Oh, sorry. Hi, Melissa Jade. I'm outside and I can't see the comments because it's so bright out here. It's very sunny today.
I can't believe that. So is it true that, like, let's say that he was just dating Holly, would he not be allowed to live with her?
Now that I am not sure of, because each state has their own rules, regulations, and guidelines. So I don't know about that specifically. I have heard.
Let me Google that real fast.
Yeah, you should. I have heard though that there are. I don't like the term accommodations, but I can't think of a better word. For stepchildren, like it's, I guess, allowed. I don't know. That's what I have heard, but I don't really want to comment too much on that because I don't know for sure.
Like if there's an exception, possibly.
Exception, yeah, there you go. Thank you, Butterfly Kisses. Yeah, an exception.
Oh, that is just so frustrating. Let me see if I can find an answer of that. Oklahoma sex offender laws explained. Let me see. A sex offender's right to privacy is considered less important than the public safety. Yeah, well, let's see. They're required to provide address verification. They may not reside in 2,000 feet of a school, public park, or playground, daycare, or any property whose primary purpose is working with children, even if the sex offense was not involving a child. The sex offender residency restrictions at 84% of Oklahoma City off limits for sex offender housing, and approximately 92% of Tulsa is off limits. Often causes offenders to register as homeless. A false registration is punishable by 5 years in prison. They're prohibited from working in schools or with children. They may be subject to GPS monitoring. They're not allowed on school property, public parks. They may not attend school events or sporting events of their own children. Wow. It doesn't say about living, though, living together, at least on this. That's interesting. I don't know. I just, seeing this makes me sick. He has just,
I'm curious too if Oklahoma has different guidelines or regulations or rules based on the level of the offender, like if they're 1, 2, 3, or 4, or however they do it.
Yep, they do.
Maybe that's what might change things. I don't know.
I saw it right here. It says there's a level 1, offenders must register yearly every 15 years. Level 2 is every 6 months, and a level 3 is every 90 days. So he hasn't even had a home check for a year. He must be a level 1, even though he was violent as hell. I can't get over that. And then he got in trouble in jail. That's absolutely mind-blowing.
Isn't it?
Jen, it ain't right. I don't know. It's crazy because, it's not just this, but it's like all of our systems are set up for us to fail. Like CPS and, how, like Harmony Montgomery getting placed with her dad. Why did that ever happen? I'm so sick of seeing it. I really am.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
Yeah. Sometimes I think we're fighting
Melissa.
the wrong war, Like,
yeah,
the war. I mean, they're all important, but I feel like, we fight the war on drugs and put so much into that, and then other systems start to fail. And the truth of the matter is, all of them are important, especially the children. I mean, I don't understand that.
Yes.
It just, it's so sad.
Protected says Jesse was at the school every day. That I wouldn't doubt it. That's just in Oklahoma. The only thing I see is that DHS has to be notified if there are children, step or grandchildren in the home.
And I agree, Mrs. O. Oh, sorry, Allie.
No, go ahead.
I don't really like the word stepchildren either, but that's how it's referenced. So I just try to keep it, the way they reference it, just to keep things clear. How sometimes it gets on the tubes.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very easy to misconstrue what people say,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm kind of sickened that he has the same birthday as me. That is weird, but
yeah.
Okay, let me go back to it. Let me see what else I can find over here real quick.
All right, my phone's about to be dead, so I'm gonna hop down, babe. But I'll be in chat. I'm listening. I think you're doing a fantastic job, and I think mapping it out like you did was incredible. And I need a visual aid, so thank you for doing that. I really appreciate that. You did a good job.
You're so welcome, and thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming up and giving your thoughts. I always love to hear from you.
Oh, thank you. All right, bye, babe.
And then I'll see you tonight, and if there's a verdict, I'll be over there. Be there.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye out. Right. So I got bye, babe.
Our delay is a little. We had a little bit of a delay. That's okay though. Okay, let me just see. We're gonna just scroll through here for just a moment. If you guys, and I'll show on the map one last time before we leave for people that had came in late. This is going to drive me crazy until we get answers. But it's like that with every case. And the problem is answers take a really, really long time. McFadden usernames. The following are all known usernames Jesse McFadden had from TikTok, Twitter, and Twitch. So listen to this. A long time ago, my son's dad worked with this guy and he is also a sex offender. And I remember him telling, because like he came home and told me about it, but the dude told him he wasn't allowed to have a Facebook. Like, I don't know, I have to look deeper into the laws, but yeah. Oh, thank you, Amber. Yes, I definitely will replay for MJ. She'll like it because I know, yeah, she likes the visual too. Okay. I'm creeped out. I could have been standing right next to him waiting for the kids to get out of school. Oh my God, crazy Italian lady. I know. It's, and when you see that video of his TikTok, he doesn't look, we talked about this with Melissa one day too. He doesn't look like a monster. He doesn't. But monsters don't always look like monsters. The boogeyman doesn't, if this ain't the damn boogeyman, sex offenders can't have social media. Okay. Depends if it was in person or online. You would think they wouldn't be allowed to, but I don't know. Okay, I'm going to show you guys again the map of where they were found and stuff, but let me just look for just a second. Wow, records show Jesse McFadden, this is a new article, had 10 violations in prison. This just gets worse and worse as we go. I can't believe this shit. Oh, shoot, I closed our thing out, though, but I can pull it back up. Okay, new records show McFadden's prison misconduct, sexual acts, battery, intoxication. Records show he had 10 violations, excuse me, while in DOC custody. March 2004, possession of tobacco. June 2005, possession of cigarettes. November 2005, tested positive for THC. January 2007, out of cell lockdown. February 2009, sexual activity. February 2010, sexual activity. January 2010, then February 2010, battery of another person, then 2 possession of a cell phone, and then a law violation. The law violation is when investigators found porn on McFadden's phone, the case he was set to go to trial for the day the bodies were found. The last 3 violations are considered Class X violations, which are considered to be the worst type of violation. Sorry about that, you guys. According to a statement the DOC gave us, McFadden was released after 85% of his time because he banked enough credits to be released early. I cannot believe that. When he was disciplined for breaking the law, child porn, with having his canteen, telephone, and visitation restricted for 90 days. According to documents, it had child porn on it. No credits were revoked. He was punished for having the phone with a 30-day segregation and restricted visitation. Unbelievable, you guys. This is absolutely unbelievable. Exactly, Amber. What the hell? I cannot get over this. It's like it gets worse and worse. It really does. I can't imagine how the families feel. That's all I go back to. I'm like, I don't know, my personality kind of naturally does that, like puts myself in that person's shoes. But okay, so now let me show you where we let me look at this, where we mapped it out. But what is this? It says this is like really, I don't know. There's something about being able to see things like this, especially, this is not a location that we are familiar with. Most of us, I'd say, so it takes a minute to get yourself situated on it. It says on Sunday morning, McFadden used one of the victim's phone and texted her parents that they were going to McAllister and would be home later. He also asked a neighbor to hide his truck from a family member. Why would he need so much more time if the victims were already dead and he wanted to kill himself? You only need significantly more time if you need to hide stuff, but he didn't even hide this stuff in the house. No, I think he needed more time to be a sick freak and fulfill his sick, perverted desires, period. period. Okay. I got a request from you over here, Woofy. Is that on purpose? Let me see. I had no idea, and nobody would have thought of him to do this, obviously. Wait. When I was 17, I dated a 24-year-old from church who was very good looking. After a few months, I was brought in for questioning. Oh my God. I am so sorry. Okay. Oh, you tried to call her. You're muted. I'm sorry. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you a couple things before I show you where they were at to get you familiar with where we're at, okay? This is from the news. You can see investigators out there. You see this wood pile. There's a creek in behind, and there's like a tree line, okay? Then this is from above. It's the same pile of wood. You see that tarp. The creek is back there. It's not in the photo, but it's a little like it would be above if it was. Also, you see this trail, I would say like a back road, four-wheeler trail, and all the investigators' vehicles parked back there in the tree line where the creek is. Then, let me show you. This is another angle of that. You see that trail, the investigators' cars, the tree line, and the creek. Okay, and now on this one, same thing. You see the trail here. If you can see my mouse, I'm going down the trail. This is the first wood pile. I'm circling the first wood. There's one wood pile there and one here. Because we could have angled it, in several places through here. But the reason that our first point is more in this area is because of the tarp and the vehicles. Now, we used his words from the press conference on May 3rd in his exact measurements to describe. But Jesse and Holly were found with Tiffany and Michael. Holly had 3 gunshot wounds, and Tiffany and Michael had 2. Now, these 3 girls, Ivy, Brittany, and Riley, were all found in a similar location 150 yards apart from each other. So the first dot is that general location. They were spread out there, and we can see where police were parked, where that tarp is next to the wood pile. But, that's going to vary. We don't know exactly that spot. And then here, let me just play the video, and it kind of uses his words. Wolfie put this together for us.
No.
Whereabouts were they found?
Ivy, Brittany, and Riley were found separately approximately 150 to 150 yards apart from each other and approximately a quarter of a mile southeast of the McFadden residence. The other 4 decedents were found together approximately 450, 500 yards east and a little bit south of where the 3 girls were found.
Okay,
and
so
they were all together.
I'm going to mute this and talk through this with you guys. So here we see that trail, the back road. We see the officers' vehicles, the wood pile. Now, I'm going to pause here. This is where the girls would have been spread out through this area. Like I said, we could have put the point maybe here. But the reason it is there is because you see the wood pile and the road, and we know investigators' cars were here, and the tarp was in these trees where that side by side was, down here, next to the creek, the trees and the creek. Remember, I showed you where we took the photos from the news. So the first 3 girls were found separately in that first spot right through there, and each one of them, Tiffany, Ivy, and Riley, all had 1 gunshot wound. Now, the rest, Holly, Jesse, and Tiffany, and Michael were all found together. And he says 450 yards southeast and a little bit south. That is why. So that's there. And then there's a pond. That's right on the edge of the water. This first dot is the McFadden residence. This is the driveway up above it where you pull in. And then in behind it is what we're looking at. And actually, if you look here, this is when we had the first dot moved over just a little bit before we put it closer to the trail, but it's still the same distances from point to point. But look here how close. This is the driveway here. This is the home. This is where the 3 girls were in this general area because we know the police were here. We have the creek, the wood pile. This is where the other 4 were found, and then the highway. They were right by the highway right there. So ooh, no, Lolo, tell me how to make it. I want to make that. Let's see what you guys say. Did one of the victims survive? No. If you, I'm either, I can, let's see. 32 phones, 68 computers, and Polaroids. 6 computers. I have to see this map on my TV. That's all right. Yeah, and maybe I would I would like to post it, but the only thing is that without being able to describe to you like the wood pile and the news footage and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to make sense of it all. So I don't think I can do that. I think I'll just, we'll just talk about it here. But anyways, you guys, let's see. No, that's okay. You didn't need to change it. Who was closest to who? We don't know, Sarah. I don't know. Until we know more. It's really interesting, the number of gunshot wounds. That is still blowing my mind. But I don't know. It's just going to make us all crazy because there is no way to have the actual answers, at least right now. We might get some eventually. But I do know that he said, because, and I said this earlier, if you kill 5 people, right? Or, I know he killed more than 5, but I'm just saying, you kill a group of people, execution style. You think that you're going to shoot them all in the same place, like everyone get on your hands and knees and shoot like you see in the movies or whatever, in the back of the head, something like that. You wouldn't necessarily think he would do different methods with, or do it differently in between, but the police said their wounds, some were to the back of the head, some were to the side, some of them have wounds on the front. Put your watermark on it. Hey, you did a great job, Woofy. I'm so appreciative of the help. I really am. Is there drone footage of the property? There is helicopter footage. That's where Woofy, like some of these pictures came from, but it's not very clear, execution style. Yeah, I think he unalived them during sleep with silence device. Well, I know it doesn't appear that it happened where they were found, but I don't know for sure. I would say the number of times shot is reflective of any struggle, chase, and or anger. Wow, Sarah, I don't even know why I hadn't thought of that, but that makes sense. Maybe. I'm shocked nobody was able to get away, all of them against him, which tells me something more happened they didn't know. Perhaps they were being led to their deaths or something else. I agree with you. I'm shocked as well. I'm a BX analyst. What is BX? Maybe is my brain not working right now? I'm sorry. Reminds me of Moselle, rural and away from others, just freaks me out. Well, anyways, you guys, I think I'm going to let you go. But when the statement we read at the beginning from the OSBI from last night is promising. They want to find out what led up to this event, what happened during everything. They want all the details, and that makes me feel a lot better. I think that's important. They did the same thing with Brian Laundrie. That was something I've been thinking about. Like, he killed himself, yeah, but they still investigated and put all the pieces together to try to figure out what exactly happened. And some of that may have been because other potential people that may have been charged, like his parents. But in this case, wouldn't there be the potential for other people to be charged as well? You know? Oh, thank you, CJ. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. If he had them in the house to begin with, chained up and torturing one or more in front of the others, they're going to be paralyzed in fear. Pretty easy to control them, especially with a gun. You know, I think that's a good point. Thank you, Woofy. Good job to you. Hey, Pale Rider. Oh, hey, Leo. Yes, we do have a live tonight, which I'm really excited. We're going to go through the family's interviews in the Gannon Stout case, Letitia's new mug shots, her I'm going to pull up some details about the jail that she's at and things like that. So I think it'll be fun to wrap up that case and kind of, you know. And if he killed one or more in front of the others, they're going to be paralyzed in fear. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Oh, thank you, Melissa. Thank you, Allie, for always being so thorough in the cases you cover, knowing all the information. Oh, thank you, Melissa. And same back to you. All right, you guys. Oh, Leo, back at you, girl. All right, you guys, I'm going to let you go. Thank you for being here with me. I'm going to go to, if you didn't see on my second channel, Real Talk with Alex, I posted a Temu review. So you should go check it out. Oh, all my respect and love to you guys. I love and appreciate you guys. There's Crime Curious. All right, you guys. I hear my mom walking the dog. Sorry. Here, let me share a couple links really fast of some of my friends that have been here that have amazing channels. If you haven't checked them out, Jin Lu, that was on panel. We have Melissa in chat, Amber, and Crime Curious. And thank you guys for being here. I love and appreciate you guys. Punksy has a great channel too, but I still haven't fixed the link, but I will. Okay, you guys. I love and appreciate you all. And hi, Mom. Yeah. Trenton wants to stay for the game, which that is fine with me. Okay, you guys, I love you. Have a great day. I will see you tonight. I can't wait. Please go subscribe to my friends. They have some really great channels. And yeah, I think Amber dropped the Real Talk with Alex link. Let me see. I'll drop it again at the end because I don't have it in my Nightbot. But yeah, it's also on my community page. But anyways, okay, you guys, thanks for being here and have a great day. Bye.